So earlier today, God brought to my memory a situation. So when I was living in Charleston, I had just ended like a situation, ship, or rather, like I literally told God I didn't have the strength to end the relationship, even though it was not in my best interest. It was not what He had for me. So, like that next day, there was a conversation between me and the guy, and things didn't do. And so, uh, long story short, I kind of we were still hanging out or whatever, but I knew it was over. And one day, I had signed up to take a class, and I was heading over there. And on the way there, God told me, you are validating yourself through your relationships. And this was like right after my dad died. So I was especially sensitive to hearing God's voice because of the mental space that I was in. And so it led me to think, and that came to mind today as I've been thinking about my parenting and just my relationships. And so after that, I made an immediate change to I started seeing friendships and relationships with people fall apart. God began to expose people, show me people that had been talking about me and all kind of foolishness. It was crazy. And this was right ahead of me studying to take the LSAT and my subsequent move to New Orleans. And so like I said, I was thinking about this today, just from the perspective of parenting and just things that I can do better as a mom. I've allowed a lot of stuff to have my attention as of late. Obviously school has been a huge thing to take my attention. Work has been a big thing to take my attention. And so let me be transparent. The main two things that have had my attention has been, of course, school and work, but from the perspective of being a distraction has been, for me, social media, because I find myself doom scrolling. It's actually three things: playing games on my phone, and then just to decompress, and then worrying. Worrying has probably been number one up there. And especially lately, I've been worrying about a lot of stuff, worrying about things that I'm not even 100% sure going to happen. And I know better. Worrying is basically the opposite of faith. It's a sin. Anytime I find myself worrying, I should be praying. And I know what the root of it is now. Nonetheless, God showed me that back then that I was validating myself through my relationships. And a lot of times we validate ourselves through a lot of things. And usually the root of needing to validate ourselves external of God is lack of affirmation. Lack of affirmation from my parents. And then also, of course, just not really having that solid foundation in God. And so one of the things that we can do as parents is to affirm our kids, but also to spend time with them in a way that they want to be spent time with. And I've really been slacking in this area because school, I got to do school, and I'm trying to, or I got to get something done for work, or I'm just mentally tapped out. And I'm giving my son, and honestly, my relationship too, I'm giving them breadcrumbs and I get nothing at the end of the day. And so one thing that I've been praying about the entire time since I went back to school, was that I would trust God to lead me on what my day-to-day schedule should look like to be successful. And I really haven't been doing that. And how I see it's affecting me now is one, of course, I'm concerned about too much screen time for my son. I'm concerned about me being able to see and spend time with my friends. This weekend, I saw my best friend for 3-4 hours, and I got to see another friend I hadn't seen in like almost 2 years for like 10-15 minutes. And just that little bit of time, it filled me up so much. I got to see my mom for a few hours. And just that little bit of time, like, it showed me like I really have a void in this area of nurturing my own needs and filling up my own needs. So I can only think about my son and the other people I love being impacted by me being so focused on school and so focused on work, that I'm not spending adequate time with them. And so as that translates to us as believers, a lot of time we feel that void, that lack that we didn't have, that lack we had growing up of affirmation or validation from our parents, by seeking attention, doing attention seeking activities. Social media has become a pariah for this. That's why you have OnlyFans. That's why you have the Instagram models. That's why you have all of that, because it's things in social media to suck us in so that we spend our time there. These social media companies get paid by our usage of the app, but they also get paid by ads. So if we're using the app, we're constantly being exposed to ads. They're suggesting things to us. And so those things start to take root in our mind. And so that's a large way that I started playing one of the games that I played was through social media. And so I feel the conviction today, over the last several weeks, I put a time limit on my social media usage, and I'm gonna probably like fall back for a while. Like, God told me, like, I want to say a year and a half ago, if not 2 years ago, that I needed to use like a tool like Hootsuite where I could schedule posts. So I'm gonna do that because I don't want to get sucked in to being validated or losing my time in something that's not going to pour back into me. Yes, I've done the thing of curating my timeline so that way I am being poured back into from the perspective of things that I want to learn and grow. I'm nurturing the things that I want to nurture, but a lot of people don't use social media that way. They think of it as entertainment. And so there are a lot of different paths that you can go down. You can go down a lot of different things that will take you further and further away from God. Y'all might not think it's that serious, but if you go and look and see how much time you're spending on social media, and on average per day, that's how much time you could be spending time studying, praying, working on a skill, working on a craft, building your business. If you have kids, spending time with your kids. If you have a partner, spending time with your partner. That time that you're spending here on social media is time that you could be spending with other people that will in turn be a blessing and allow you to be affirmed by God through that person. And so the conviction I feel right now is just, one, I know I got to cut back so that way the time that I do have, I can make the most of it. But two, I need to recognize any area of my life where I am spending too much of my time focused on other things. Like I already told y'all, the worrying and the stressing, I've been spending a lot of time doing that, worrying about things that are outside of my control. Like I can't control other people. I can't control other situations that pop up that have nothing to do with me, or they came about because of no action of my own. And so that's time that I could be spending praying. That's time I could be spending with my son or with my boyfriend, or calling my friends and family. And so all that to say, I feel like a strong conviction for me. And I just want to extend it to you, not to convict you, but for you to ask yourself, where are you spending most of your time? And not just to like shun social media, because there are ways that social media can be a blessing, but a lot of us don't have the discipline to curate our timeline or to limit the time that we're spending on social media, or spending playing games, or spending consuming other things, activities, TV, music, anything that's not going to pour back into us. We don't necessarily take the time to do that assessment, to do that analysis, to see where our time is going. And so first thing I want you to do is pray and ask the Holy Spirit if, one, are you wasting time in social media? Or is there anything that you're wasting your time on that could be used to do other things? And for the conviction that you will immediately act on it. And then 2, is there anything that God would rather you be spending your time focused on? Like, is there a business idea that you have? Is there some creative thing that you want to do or are interested in doing? And then what's stopping you from doing that? Use that time to research and to build up those skills so you can do the thing that you're interested in. Bye.